The loss of Vince Leone in Fire Country Season 4 is as devastating as it is inevitable. From the very start, fans knew that if this series ever took a major emotional swing, Vince would be at the center of it. Burke's performance had long been one of the show's strongest, quietly anchoring the chaos around him, with a mix of heart, authority, and moral steadiness. Vince wasn't just a character, he was the emotional backbone of Fire Country. His calm leadership and unshakable presence brought order to a show built on fiery unpredictability. So while his death makes narrative sense, it also feels like the show has lost its soul. Even with the pit's Sean Hattasey stepping in as a new addition, there's simply no replacing Vince Leone. Season 4 opens exactly where the Season 3 finale left off with chaos. A massive explosion rips through the memory care facility, trapping Vince, Sharon, and Walter inside. The flames separate them, forcing Walter to drag a screaming Sharon out to safety. Bode, in a panic, goes full hero mode and tries to rush back into the collapsing building. But Jake locks him inside the three-rock rig to stop him from doing something reckless. Sharon and Walter barely make it out alive and are taken to the hospital. The rescue team eventually finds Vince, but by then it's too late. He's pronounced dead at the scene just as Bode breaks out of the truck, desperate and too late to save his father. The emotional impact is immediate and gut-wrenching. The show doesn't shy away from showing how deeply Vince's absence affects everyone at Station 42. The team feels hollow without him. His influence was what kept their clashing personalities and chaotic missions in balance. Losing Vince isn't just a family tragedy, it's a loss that ripples across the entire department. And while the narrative choice makes sense for a show that thrives on high stakes, it also threatens to shake the very foundation that made Fire Country so compelling. Without Vince's moral center, will the show lose the heart that set it apart? That question looms large throughout the rest of the episode, especially during Vince's funeral. The service is emotional from start to finish. Bode shares a story about his father teaching him to shave a small, intimate memory that becomes a symbolic lesson about manhood and mentorship. It's one of the series' most heartfelt moments, and for a brief second, everyone seems united in grief. But as with most family dramas, funerals have a way of bringing out the worst in people. Soon, tension starts bubbling beneath the surface, and the wake turns messy. Jake, who had always looked up to Vince, makes a poorly timed move by talking about taking over Vince's position as battalion chief. His intentions might not be malicious. He genuinely believes he'd be honoring Vince by continuing his work. But the timing couldn't be worse. Doing it at Vince's funeral feels tasteless and self-serving, and Bode doesn't take it well. What begins as a tense exchange turns into a full-blown confrontation, and for once, Bode's anger feels justified. But underneath his fury lies guilt. He still believes that if Jake hadn't locked him in the truck, he could have saved his father. What Bode fails to admit is that Vince and Sharon only entered the building because Bode went in first against orders. His injuries and impulsiveness made the situation worse, not better. Jake was wrong to bring up the job during the funeral, but he was right to stop Bode that night. The fight spirals out of control, drawing unwanted attention and worsening Sharon's grief. Overwhelmed, she uses her authority as division chief to bench Station 42 from active duty. Initially, it's a reasonable decision. Her team is too emotionally unstable to be on the front lines. But as weeks pass, her inability to move forward becomes its own problem. 2 months later, Sharon is still consumed by guilt and anger, blaming her father for saving her instead of Vince. The station remains grounded, its crew restless and emotionally drained. Bode and Jake aren't speaking, and the grief that should be bringing them together is instead pulling everyone apart. Adding to the heartbreak, the episode also marks Gabriella's farewell. As previously teased by showrunners, Arcila exits early in Season 4, with Gabriella offered a high-profile role traveling the state to help recruit new firefighters. It's an opportunity too big to pass up, one that aligns with her ambition and her past as an Olympian. But it also means leaving Edgewater and Bode behind. Their final scenes together are bittersweet. They finally recapture the chemistry that's been missing for seasons, only for it to happen right before she leaves. Her departure hits Bode hard, especially as he's already reeling from his father's death and strained friendships. That grief starts manifesting in dangerous ways. Bode claims he threw away the pain pills prescribed after his injury, but the truth is, he kept them hidden in his locker. His struggle with addiction has always been one of Fire Country's most compelling arcs, and now it resurfaces at the worst possible time. Grief, isolation, and boredom push him toward relapse, and without a sponsor or steady support system, he's one more bad day away from disaster. His hero complex, the same trait that drives him to save others, now threatens to destroy him. Just as things can't seem to get worse, they do. Sharon's brother Luke goes behind her back and contacts CAL FIRE headquarters, resulting in the appointment of a new battalion chief, Brett Richards. The move enrages Sharon, not just because of